Hi folks, we are now at another Open Gardens. This is Shirley's garden in Clarence. Let me take you on a walkthrough and walk with the gardener Shirley here. I have been to this garden for more than a few times. It's always a pleasure to be here because I'm a plant pusher and Shirley is also a plant pusher. We push plants toward each other. So I mean, that is the spirit of the Open Gardens. We love to share not just the plant, but also the knowledge and also the whole gardening experience. So, as you can see, Shirley was chatting with me saying, "Oh, garden is not ready. She has to do some cleaning up." I told her, I think visitors and our viewers want to see a garden that is being tended. So this is what we want to see. Yeah, the gardeners working in the garden with tools laying around, and garden does not need to be perfect by any means. Yeah.
Yours is pretty close, Jay.
So because I'm here, I probably wouldn't have time to vacuum my lawn today, so I just let it be. Yeah. Show us one of the most special plants here. I think that's the Spanish flag plant, the vine.
The vine, well, it's really not doing much yet.
Yes.
So it's the Spanish flag. It's also called Mina Lobata.
Mm-hmm.
And it's,
You started this from seed.
I started from seed because I haven't really seen
Even
it.
very early.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But they don't seem to do much until they're in the ground.
And when we reach the right temperature,
Yeah, it
and
likes the heat.
probably also the humidity plays a big part. Look
Yeah.
at your Lucifer plant.
Yeah, this
It's
corner.
so striking.
It loves
Yeah.
this corner. Now I do, this might be true for you too because you're sort of open. I fight the wind. And
Yes.
so what ends up happening, I probably own more tomato cages that are not used for tomatoes than
I
almost.
think that might be true.
I
yeah.
have them stashed
Uh-huh.
in the garden, and I can hide them. But that's what I'm doing today. We have the perfect combination of rain and wind.
Yeah.
That now I'll be going in and using tomato cages as props to hold them up because you can see, look, this is almost
Right.
touching the ground. So
Yeah.
now I'll be going in and supporting things.
I mean, I sort of like this arching form, so it's very inviting. Yeah, I think it looks very nice. Show us the hollyhocks, because in Clarence we have a lot of deers, very high deer pressure.
Yes.
But against all the odds,
Just be careful not
Shirley-
to trip over a hose.
mm-hmm.
Well, again, I pull out when it's not an open garden day. And look, see, this one just broke. I
Oh.
prop things up with the tomato cages. I also guard them with the tomato cages. And of
Yeah,
course, like all good gardeners, I walk
Oh,
around
look at the bumblebee.
with scissors.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah, they love the hollyhock.
they do. And so these are, I think I might even pull out the tomato cage even with the open garden today just to keep them supported.
Yeah.
I have been planting various hollyhock seeds in this corner for years. If I see, and I think this blackish purple one, I think I
That's
saw
very special.
a hollyhock on Open Gardens that had gone to seed. I grabbed the seeds
Right.
and throw them in. So this corner is, well, it would show much of my garden. It's never the same.
Exactly.
So you'll see there's all different, the one, and you can tell some of them, you can see this is a different leaf. This is a very old-fashioned hollyhock. And again, I think because I call it guerrilla gardening, not as in the animal, but as in the philosophy. I don't know the names of everything because I collect seeds.
And some of them might be hybrids, so they don't
Yep.
even have a name.
No,
Yeah,
they-
there's a possibility. And
And
also,
that's the fun of it, the nature, right? I let
Yeah.
the bees and the ground and the hollyhock do
and
their thing.
you also overwinter the dahlia tubers.
I have a little bit of a dahlia habit. I probably pull out about 100, and so you can see there's about 20 in here.
Yeah.
And I will probably move a few. You never know. You start them all at the same time. I have 3 or 4 that are really big right now, and then some really beautiful colors in the back that just haven't gotten as big for whatever reason. I
Yeah.
may go pull them out, especially when we're going to have a few rainy days like we have coming up.
Right.
That way I can move them and they can recover.
Yeah.
Because I will, by the middle of the summer, this will just be full of
Yeah.
these big, beautiful dinner plate dahlia. And I have them all
So
scattered
now it's
throughout.
pretty, in July, it's still early for the.
Well, I start them indoors.
Okay.
So all of these I put into pots in my basement, just in I have what they call a daylight basement windows.
Yeah.
And they have big deep sills, and so these will all just the tubers. I'll start to pull them out in March or April, depending on my schedule if I'm going away.
Yeah.
And start them all indoors, and then I move them out, and I don't really put them in the ground till around June 1, and then they take off.
Yeah, this is the best tip you can get for growing dahlia from someone who has years of experience. So please pay attention. Yeah, and look at this castor bean plant. It's getting huge.
Yep, but
so,
I've got it tied up. You can see the wind.
Yeah, so I received one from you, and I hide them between some of the daisies to give them a little bit of a support.
Yep.
And I mean, they're not as big as yours, but they're growing fast.
They will, and as soon as because you probably got it into the ground a little bit later than I did, because I just got it to that's the key. And then this is something. These are really behind this year. These are called fragrant gladiolus.
Did you give me one of this?
I don't know. I may have. They're really spectacular. Normally, I have blooms by now, and I think that's the hard thing too with planting a garden. Is even if you've done it one year to the next. I have in my Facebook. It's one of the nice things is seeing memories coming up, and you'll be like, oh my gosh, those were all in bloom a year ago on this day, and they're not this time.
Shirley, can you show us your front garden? And
Sure.
you made some ceramic item. Here, yes. Yes.
And I think, so that's what I have here. I only have one little bloom. But I am going to probably do it again this winter. This seems to be the format that works the best, the size, text. But also...
so you made this at
Buffalo Art Studios where I work. But what's nice here is because I draped it over a tube, but this angle here allows it to sit in a way that it can be read. So that's probably what I will do this winter is do it again and use. I may make the tops different in the colors, but this sort of template worked really, really well. Some of them you can see the letters were too small. And so then you can't really read them. So it was an experiment, and I know, which is how art works, which is how gardening works.
Yes, this would be wonderful that to add additional handmade ceramic plant tags. Yeah,
and that's just, that's something I think for all of us with our gardening habits, something to do in the winter. And again, these are dahlia that I had in a pot, and they were not doing well. They were breaking because it was too windy, so I pulled them out. I'll find a new place.
So you see, all the gardeners are moving things around, changing things around all the time. So don't be afraid to make some drastic changes.
This is my little stool. I actually think after some of the plants, I get the most questions. I got this years ago, and it's a nice height. A lot of garden stools you're too
this
high.
Is wonderful.
Yeah, and I throw things in here. It's got a little bit of water, and it rocks. And this is
this will save your back.
And because my butt is below my knees, and I think that's the key. A lot of them you're up too high.
Yeah, right.
So there's that. So and then this is my front, and again, kind of tying things up in the wind.
Yeah, I have the cotton candy.
I got all these
stocky. I have the same thing. They kind of they get too large and they kind of flop. Yeah.
And then the same thing on a day like today where it's windy, I'll stake them. And then I may, again, if later this afternoon for the walk, if it calms down, I'll just take what I can do is I can take the pull out and leave the twine, and it'll stay.
Look at the bumblebee. It's just completely invested in this particular plant. This is a stocky, which is related to lambsia, which has the fuzzy leaves.
But this doesn't travel like the lambsia. The lambsia will take over.
No, they stay as a clump. The clump will get bigger, which you can eventually split, but they will not travel.
Right, and that's something that I think when you get to this stage in gardening too, thinking about what you can control.
Right, yeah.
And then I have the calla lily, which is also winter. I pull all those out and start those early. I just like the drama of them.
Yes. Show us the new container area along the fence.
Oh yeah, sure. Come on, don't trip. So these are my hydrangea along the side, and like a lot of people, you probably can't hear me. When we're done, I have an idea for you too. This beautiful hydrangea took a beating during this winter storm. It broke, and I lost So I am now sort
This
of,
is a Pinky Winky,
yeah,
right?
trying to turn it into a tree.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So
Yes.
I am sort of propping
Give it some support. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and again, after the rain, I probably need to redo it. And I've cut a lot back. I think one of the nice things when you get to be sort of a mid-career gardener is you're not afraid. You're not afraid to really cut things back. You're not
Exactly.
afraid
Yeah.
to take branches off of something. And that's my only approach here now. Is I think I'll probably. You can see it is staking up better. This would totally fallen over, so I'm going to keep kind of propping it up, and we'll see. And these dry so beautifully. I'll have a beautiful bouquet in the fall. But here's the new bed. Ignore my composter. Every gardener has a little secret stash.
Compost is the best thing we can
And
get
there's
for
my,
the garden.
and my compost that I
Oh,
already.
let me show people the compost.
So
Real
that's some that I'm going to put in when I replant some things, but I wanted it to dry out a little bit.
quick. Yeah.
Again, just a hidden garbage can. So this is the new bed.
Yeah. Let me
Look at
show.
the wind, one of my lights fell down.
Okay.
So I kind of took this idea from you
Well, that's quite a compliment. Yeah.
because you have before the winter storm, this was all arborvitae. And the roots made it very difficult to grow anything along the fence. So what I did was I started by digging, a border, and then I put down cardboard, and then weed barrier, which a lot of people on the Facebook page gave me blowback that was terrible, but I didn't like seeing the cardboard through,
Right. Yeah.
and then the black mulch, and you can see some of it through. And what's happening too is when my lawn guys do the edging,
Oh.
they're hitting it.
Yeah.
So probably when I get a chance, which I haven't had time, and I'll probably put a rock border.
Yeah.
I
mean, you can totally remove them in a year or two.
And then I may.
Once all the
Exactly.
grass become completely dead. Yeah,
Exactly.
there shouldn't be any issue. And you probably want to give your son and daughter some credit for laying the.
Yeah, my son and my daughter do a lot of my labor for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm just not able. I've had some back problems, and I just haven't been able to do as much labor as I used to. And that's an adjustment for me. Is realizing what I can and can't do. But then also, and I have to give Phyllis, is it Lobens or Lobens? How do you say Lobens? So credit. I saw her starting Cana from seed.
Yeah, tell us about the canna lily.
She was just grabbing seeds, like she said she was, which I like to do too, collecting seeds. And so
I know you have a seed filing
I do.
cabinet. You showed me. Yeah.
So I think cabinet is a generous word. I have a bin. But anyway, so when I would be somewhere at the end of the summer and I would see Cana going to seed, I would grab the seeds, and I always have these little envelopes, and I'd write it down. And so I started them. I will admit, at this point, I have no idea which color is where, but they all kind of will go together.
That'd be a nice surprise. Yes.
And then I put and I started all of this from seed, all of the salvia, all of the nasturtium,
lovely.
against more of the lobata, and then the pollinator dahlia. Which is crazy that these are the biggest things in the pot right now.
Yeah, probably because they love the potting mix you're using. So the point is, even in the Buffalo Niagara region, you can grow canna from seed, but you still have to protect the bulb or the tuber from the wind. You have to remove them. But you can start new canna from seed, which is a new information to me.
But the key is, and I learned this from Phyllis, is that you have to. So when I grow the castor, I take the bean and I put it on an emery board and I sort of scratch it and score it.
Yeah.
With the canna, you have to really cut into it. And Phyllis told me she used a toenail clipper, which I did not. I just used a really sharp serrated knife, and I really went until I saw the white inside the black
because it's kind of a glossy, hard
It's hard.
Yes.
And then you have to soak them, and you have to soak them until you see the little white, what is going to be, I think, the root, pop out.
Right.
So I'm a few weeks behind Phyllis because I did not score aggressively enough. I was too nervous to.
Yeah.
But I do have some that are starting.
Yeah, folks, this is another very important tip. To start canna lily from seed, you have to scar the
really
seed
score it.
very hard. Show us the long border. I know you mentioned you have a method here. To do this by different color, right?
So that was because I'd like to, as Jay said he's a plant pusher. I like to be able to take things or buy things. And so what I did a few years ago is I kind of created color families. So you can see this is sort of this red and orange. And when the trumpet vine was in, that's orange and yellow. So these are hot colors. So I can throw anything in there and that color it's going to look good.
Yeah.
And then this becomes some of my soft lavenders. And you can see where I made a mistake. This bee balm is not a soft pink at all.
Oh.
It's a very bright pink.
Yeah.
And I'll move it. I mean,
Yeah.
again, not today.
It's very easy to move the
I'll move it down.
bee balm.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid.
Then this is all I want this to be. And you can see I love when I have a dark, which I did here too, they're done, but a dark mixture of foliage as well as the flowers. I think that's something you learn when you garden for a little bit longer, is not just to think about the flower,
Yeah.
but to think about the foliage.
Yes.
And then
So I always tell people a good garden, there has to be logic behind all the design. It may look very free flow, very natural, but actually gardeners spend a lot of time think about how to use plant, how to do the layout, how to do even do the try and error process to find the right solution for this spot.
Yep,
So yeah.
And
Oh,
then
this
time-
color is so vibrant.
Yep, and then these are, I had these in the back, which is pretty, but I wanted some that people could see up close, so I
yeah.
moved a few.
It's lovely. Yeah, zoom in, let people see how
The
delicate.
blackberry lily is also part of the Procosmia family.
Cosmia.
Yeah, I had a big lily here, which was, again, I'm still recovering from pulling out hundreds of lilies and roses from the deer. They were eating everything.
Yeah.
So,
So there's another point I want to share with people. When people think about garden, the first thing they're thinking about probably rose. But rose is not a very easy plant. It's fussy, and the rabbits and the deer and the beetles all love the roses. So if you want to do a rose garden, you have to really make a commitment.
and
Yeah.
we live in Buffalo. That's
Yeah.
one of the things when you go to open gardens in Buffalo versus a suburban garden like what we have. They have squirrels, and rats
Yeah.
and different rodents. They have smaller rodents, but they can grow roses because they don't have what I like to call the rats on stilts, which are the deer. So that's where they run into.
Yeah.
They have a little more.
Okay.
And then this is all my soft pinks, and again, it's this tree has grown a ton. I think I probably will have a tree person come and cut the bottom branches off. But it has transformed this garden into more of a shade garden. So there are things I'm going to have to move. There are things that are not doing as well.
So the chair is for the supervisor of your garden.
It's this interesting chair that I found at work that I like the way it's rusting, but I haven't really found a good level place for it. That's the problem. It keeps tipping over. I may move it in front of these daisies because that's sort of flat. And I'm also having a terrible time. There is something in that ground. I don't know if there's a pipe that runs something. It's kind of, and I think this happens, you end up with these weird dead zones. Everything will be doing well, and then it just goes kaput. And so this was a beautiful big Stokes aster, and then there was something in it. It ate the roots, and it's dying.
Yeah.
And even my daisies are struggling, so I don't know what happens here, but I'm sort of thinking I'm kind of done fighting it. So I
Right.
think what I'm going to do is whether I move the chair here and put something that'll spill.
Yeah, this is such a wonderful idea to find some unwanted item and repurpose, reuse, upcycle them in your garden. Let them become part of the garden. In addition to the chair, I know you also collect unwanted large container, plastic container
That's all of
from
those.
your neighbors in your neighborhood, and you spray them
Black.
in a uniform color and reuse them. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
such a good idea. We don't want to throw all those plastic away. If we can find a
Exactly.
way to reuse them, let's do it.
Yeah. And I mean, I love the idea of having all terracotta, but again, for that scale,
Yeah,
it's too
terracotta
heavy.
probably is a little bit too much of maintenance for our climate, especially the
yeah.
large one. How do you move them? Where do you
Right,
store them?
exactly. It's just too
Yeah.
heavy, and so and I have some friends who are avid walkers and walk the neighborhood, and they'll message me in the morning that there's big pots on the corner of here and here. Go.
You
And
have a support system.
I have a network, and I'll get my van and go and grab them. And so
Oh, that's lovely.
probably
Yeah.
I probably purchased 2 or 3 of that 15.
Yeah.
So that's part of it too.
That's a very good idea. So again, we are at Shirley's garden in Clarence. This is on the tour of the Open Gardens. This will be along with the North Town East group. We open on Thursday afternoon, and if you have time, yeah, visit this garden. You'll be surprised. I try to take photos here, but because of the scale of the garden, it's not easy to photograph. So I had the idea to do a walkthrough video with the gardener. I hope I have done justice to this beautiful garden and show you so many of the wonderful ideas Shirley has been practicing and also sharing. Yeah, thank you, Shirley. Bye bye.